what I see with a lot of our politicians, they were just opportunists. I know one big man who can put me in a position, and that's it. You can't even have sensible conversation with a lot of our politicians. Many of them are not deep, they are very shallow, even when you talk, except ethnicity conversations, tribal conversation, religious conversation. A lot of Nigerian politicians cannot even have global discourse, you know. I mean, and you can see it, you're a journalist, you see how many of them fight you. If we can't have a single intellectual argument and all of us hug it out, you know, I mean, that tells you what's going on upstairs of that person. You know.
Would you ever become a politician?
No.
Why?
My father.
You do not want to serve.
My father. No, I'm serving. I'm already more than serving. What I do is more than what most politicians do. I've sent over 5,000 kids to school. How many politicians have done that, even with government money? Right? We work with widows. We give grants. You know, every month we're giving grants to support small businesses. So what I do, a lot of the politicians don't do it, even though our money is in their hands. But my biological father was a grassroots politician. In fact, he was the secretary to SDP in the 1993 election. Is it 1993 or 1992?
1992, 93.
Yes, 1992-1993 election. He was the SDP secretary. So, and you know, Babangida Kingibe was the vice president to Abiola. And I watched my dad put all his life savings, you know, put everything, all his energy. In fact, I can categorically say the logistic money for that election was distributed by my dad. I see him bring money full of briefcase, distribute every single kobo. MK was not given the position after election. We could not renew the house rent. This was a room and a parlor in Maiduguri.
Wow.
Right? We could not renew the house rent. We literally moved to a village, no running water, no electricity. Right? And I spent a good portion of my life seeing that kind of. So I saw what he did to my dad. And my dad couldn't even rise from that experience. Because you could imagine the belief that if this worked, this was going to change his life. He was like practically, and because he was quite educated and he understood, I mean, he had a lot. So he just messed him up. So seeing that, for me, politics is scary. Looking at how it's almost like you're gambling. And another thing I tell people, I don't have enough money to do politics. Somebody once said, and I heard the story, that until you can afford to bring 500 million naira and they will throw it inside fire in your presence, right? And you will not shake your money.
Mm-hmm.
That's
hard-earned money.
Yeah, hard-earned money. Then when they burn it and you are not bothered, then they'll say, welcome to politics.
Literally, that's what happens.
Unfortunately, I'm an entrepreneur. You know, investors trust me for business. I don't have that kind of money to waste. So I'd rather stay where I am with what I do to do. But I'm willing, obviously, with a serious government, the areas I operate, I'm willing to give counsel to, I mean, if it's anything that will not make me need to leave my business, I'm okay with it. Because let's be honest, right? Some of the money that these politicians are stealing, you as a private person in business, these are things, your company do in every 1 week or every day itself. So why do I want to bring myself to a position where small thing I say, he has stolen 100 million, 500 million. And these are normal things that your business can generate, particularly with international operations and things like that.
So why create some dirt on your personality
exactly,
when you can actually operate within the private sector and do that? But there are those who will believe that if there is a passion in changing our country, on changing things in the way we want, is also by putting oneself into public office, by getting voted into office and making things happen, other than leaving it to the so-called unprepared, unqualified people.
It's half truth. Let's look at America, right? The men who built America, John D. Rockefeller, J.P. Morgan, Andrew Carnegie. Okay, what political position did they have? Literally, John D. Rockefeller at some point was richer than the whole of America combined. Without that guy, you are not going to see the revolution we now see today in the entire petroleum industry. One man. Andrew Carnegie, the entire rail system, logistics of America. The man owned more than half of the entire railway in America. JP Morgan, the entire banking sector. This guy used to bail out America, right? The government is in trouble. This is the guy they come to. What you now know as Federal Reserve today, right, was JP Morgan fulfilling that role, bailing out different sector. One man, I dare say, what Nigeria needs are men like institutions. When those men like institutions have taken over many sectors, developed those sectors, made those sectors viable, politicians then need to come in to work on their grid, right? And put in place policies so that there's no monopoly. And that's what happened in America. So when you look at every single sector in America, it was developed by individuals in the private sector. When they became so big, then the government found a way. I mean, John D. Rockefeller's company was, cut into like 5, Shell, Chevron, ExxonMobil. These were all Standard Oil, right? So the same thing you need to see in Nigeria. You need men like institutions, men who will take over an industry, standardize it, create jobs. Look at Henry Ford. One man, the entire car industry was on his shoulder. Till today, that's still what goes on in America. Social media, largely on Mark Zuckerberg. The entire electric car, right? Elon Musk. Before we go into SpaceX and all this, you can see a whole sector on one man's shoulder. But of course, you can see what they are trying to do, even with Mark Zuckerberg trying to break Facebook. That's the way it should be. And I dare say that politicians need to wake up and stop fighting entrepreneurs. You need to be more humble. We get it. You found your way to now have some power. And with a pen, you can change a man's destiny. We get it. But if you really care about this country, you need to start partnering with people in the private sector to say, how do we make your business grow? We are starting over 400 housing unit in Houston on a 40-acre. And we did a conference. The congresswoman brought a congressional award of recognition. In my how many years being a Nigerian, doing business in Nigeria, I don't know any award any government institution has ever given me. I have not even started. It's a $150 million project. We've not even started, right? You're already getting people in government saying, we acknowledge what you are trying to bring to our city. That's the way it should be in Nigeria. Politicians should be able to, if they are really serious, including the senators and the so-called House of Rep people. Thank you for coming to my city to bring this project. What, policy can we pass that will support this business in my community? That's really how it should be. Instead, you see people say, who is he? Who is his father? Where is he coming from? Have we gotten our own court? That is why we are not making progress. All of us can go into politics. I saw it as a trap when they say, all of you young people, you're not too young to run. What capacity have you built? You can't give what you don't have. You get into politics, you've not built anything for yourself. How can you then, do anything, really? So, that's my take. It's a half truth, actually.